Greetings out there in YouTube land. I'm Morris Man and I thank you for coming to my channel. Today I'm going to do another short brief video entitled Berry Gordy, the Even Bigger Pimp. I recently did a video presentation entitled Quincy Jones the Pimp. And basically what the video entitled or entailed or discussed was how Quincy Jones and other people in the music industry have slapped their names on record credits or song credits and didn't deserve for them to have had them there because they didn't contribute to the composition, and how they have exploited young artists, up and coming artists, throughout the years. And Berry Gordy is like the master of that. And someone mentioned Berry Gordy in a comment when I did the Quincy Jones, so I thought it would be fit or only fit to do one presentation on Berry Gordy. And it's interesting because how this video story came about was there was a story on top of a story. And what I mean by that is this is how this Berry Gordy video kind of came to light. A year ago, a very good friend of mine, a publisher named Fran. And Fran was one of the first people, actually the very first person that actually gave me a break in the industry as far as a songwriter. I had submitted demos throughout the years to record companies and didn't hear from them or got turned down. So I decided to go the publisher's route, where I will submit my material to a publisher who has connections to these artists directly. So I was like in my early 20s, I submitted 3 songs, and Fran called me like the next day. And she said, I was hooked on the very first song that you put on the tape because it's customary to put your best song first when you submit a 3-song demo. She said, I was totally impressed because the first line in the song that you wrote she said that had me. And the first line in this particular song, it was the line read something like this: "You're sitting out in the rain, trying to hide your tears." And she said that just moved her. And then just the rest of the song talks about how a jilted lover is trying to deal with the fact that, that this particular person got jilted. So after that, I submitted some more songs. And I think the second song on that song was the first published song. It was called I Thought You Was Serious. And I submitted some more material and she got those published. But anyway, getting to the story at hand, she contacted me last year because we still keep in touch. And she said, I have 2 tickets to this Berry Gordy's tribute, and Smokey Robinson is going to be there. And it was on the news. There's a big write-up about how they were putting on this tribute to Berry Gordy, and Smokey Robinson was going to be there. And they was talking about, how he made this big contribution to the music industry, blah, blah, that. And backstage passes to meet Berry and meet Smokey, which I've actually met Smokey on a couple of occasions. A very genuine guy. I love him to death. So she asked me, did I want to attend? And I thought about it for a minute. I said, I'll pass. She was like, why? And I said, well, here's kind of why. And I'm about to tell you why. We look at Berry Gordy as this musical icon, which technically I don't look at him that way. I look at Berry Gordy this way. He was a very visionary person, and he took a bunch of musical geniuses and made a dream come true. Now, I honestly believe that this dream could have came true with or without him. He was just a guy who initiated things and got it going. And the people that really actually made it happen, like the Funk Brothers, Marvin Gaye, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, Diana Ross and the Supremes, they actually could have made this happen without him. He was just one of the people that kind of helped put it together. So yeah, of course he gets some credit, but I always felt he got too much credit because Berry Gordy was notorious for slapping his names on stuff that didn't belong there. Because ask me this or tell me this: how can you write a song when you can't play an instrument? I'm not talking about writing the lyrics, but you part of the credits as far as writing the composition, the musical composition. Because what I noticed is, like in the 60s and the 50s, they specified, and what I mean by that is the great songwriting team, Burt Bacharach and Harold Davis, I believe, it clearly states on all their compositions that Burt Bacharach wrote the music and Harold Davis penned the lyrics. Same thing with it was a couple of other ones I had examples of. Elton John and Bernie Taupo, I believe. It clearly states that Elton John wrote the music and Barry wrote the lyrics. But when you get to the around to the Motown era, you got everybody listed and it just says words and music by. And it's like it doesn't differentiate between who did what. It's just everybody lumped into this two-part category. So that right there was kind of misleading. And the Funk Brothers, who had played on more hits combined with the Beatles and Elvis combined, they didn't get any notoriety until Marvin Gaye put out the Let's Going On album, which Berry Gordy didn't want him to put out for an entire year. They shelved that album and wouldn't let him release it. Once it got released, like I said in my other video, it became quickly the largest selling album in the Motown history at that point. And finally, the Funk Brothers got credits as far as who actually played the instrumentations on these great songs. And it's just kind of unfortunate that, some of the people in the Motown camp, and of course, Motown was an extremely what's the word I'm looking for? Successful venture, that some of those people died literally penniless on welfare. Now, how is that when you help sell millions and millions of records and 10 years later you can't pay your rent? And one thing about the music industry is when you write or perform, you constantly get royalty checks. So you more or less covered for the rest of your life. But a lot of those people got cheated out of their royalties, got cheated out of their credits as far as, writing or producing the song because of Berry Gordy. And a lot of things that people probably kind of know but don't know the whole detail of it. Like a good example, Berry Gordy fathered a child with Diana Ross. Now most think, well, they got together and they liked each other. That's fine, but guess what? Berry Gordy was a married man when that was taking place. And Diana Ross is just one of many that he bedded. So, I don't look at him as a hero. I look at him as a guy that came around, got together and put together a bunch of creative and very talented people and exploited them. So that's why I told her, I can't be a part of that celebration because I don't look at Berry Gordy as no hero or no great music guy. I look at him as a businessman who raped a bunch of people, and got away with it. So that's my story on Berry Gordy, and I'm gonna drag this out or make it any longer. But I hope this was informative and interesting. Take care.